Okay, everybody, we are back with Choobsx and the Phantomire on comms. Take it away, Choobs, and let us know what you're going to be showing off.
Okay, hello everybody. My name is Choobsx. Primarily, I'm a Mega Man runner, but for some reason, I got talked into playing Contra Hardcore. And the reason that
I'll
I
do
got
that.
talked into that is my colleague, the Phantomire.
Well, thank you for having me. Can't wait to see this chaos.
Yeah, so the category that we're doing is called Chase Fight, and the character that we're using is called Fang, and that's mostly because this is how the game was run, or the character that was used to run the game for a very long time was Fang. And the reason is because we can exploit an attack and just melt everything in our path. So instead of talking about it, let's just go ahead and get started here and show them what it looks like. What do you think, Fanto?
The Adventures of Robot Dog is definitely a good time, and I can't wait to. For those who have played this game and are like, "Oh my goodness, this is absolutely terrifying, brutal game." If you haven't seen this run, once you see him launch that Robot Dog attack, you are going to be like, "Oh, okay, okay."
Yeah. Yeah, the other way to think of this is parallel universe Poochie. He is no longer
Yeah,
trying to get to the fireworks factory. He is blowing it up.
he is the fireworks factory, blowing up the fireworks factory.
Yeah, so officially, if you were running the game, you would start the timer when you first get control of your character. I tend to just start mine here because if I get a good run, I can just retime it, but whatever. So I'm going to start whenever I accept this conversation here, and that'll be in 3, 2, 1, go.
Good luck, good luck.
This is the best
Okay.
intro to a video game I have ever played because you just
Yeah.
get thrown into the chaos.
This is where it is that I absolutely adore the Genesis because you get this chaos and this absurdity and over the topness, and why I look at this as one of the best running guns out there in existence. So a lot's going on. It's interesting. You're gonna see him doing things like sliding around and everything like that. For people who have played this game, especially if you've played the North American version, you're probably used to it's like he got hit and why on earth did he not lose his weapon? He's playing the Japanese version and he has a health bar. It's a critical thing that makes such a huge difference. There are damage boost strats that you get to do and worry about being able to save your weapons for certain instances. So if he has one health and something dangerous is coming up, he might take a strategic death. So it really adds a lot of strategy to the game. And another thing that's interesting about it is that when we talked about that, robot dog fireworks factory chaos kind of thing, you're going to be seeing him actually using the bomb a lot earlier than you would with other characters. And that's because this run is contingent upon using the next weapon he's going to get, which is the B weapon, and having the D weapon. And what happens is you saw how long it took him to charge that super attack, but it's incredibly, incredibly strong. He's going to be doing quick swaps, so you're going to be doing it's just like it's a shot, 1, 2, 3, and go back to the weapon kind of thing. And those quick swaps means that it mitigates having to charge the weapon. So you just get to absolutely melt bosses. In certain instances, sometimes the bosses don't even move. It is absolutely bonkers. And so, like, you see a lot of cycles skipped and everything like that. So for those who are just like, oh my goodness, what on earth is going on? You didn't even get to see the boss.
And that could be a 1-cycle fight, but I got out of my cycle and it became a 2-cycle fight.
Yeah, it's really interesting because, and so this is where we talked about the chase fight category. It's about selecting what text option it is that you have, and once you select which text option, it changes the routes that it is that you play. And I was happy that when Choobsx said that this is the category that he submitted because for me personally, it's the best ending of the game, and it also has my favorite music in the game. So it's like I am all for it. But yeah, it's interesting with the quick swaps because it is something where it's like it really pushes you, especially when it is that you're doing certain bosses where a lot of them will have it where they're fixed cycles. So if you wind up having a boss starting an attack, it needs to wait until it finishes that attack before it'll go off screen. So you want to be able to make sure that you do enough damage so that
Oh
that
no,
does not happen. Um,
something just decided to crash on me.
yeah.
That was fun.
Uh, Yeah, there we go. Okay, so
We're just
this
gonna
is
start from here.
blue screen.
We are we are off the rails now. So the game's back on my end. I gotta make sure it's back for Fanto.
Yeah, I see it on Twitch. So we'll go through Twitch now. Okay, so stage 1.
You did not just see this.
Hardcore.
This is not a repeat.
Yeah, pretend like this did not happen. Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. There's something about, you know, we've had a lot of good luck with Contra in recent years being shown off at Game Over Cancer for, you know, tremendous cause, all that sort of thing. And I think after my last time running it, all I've done is curse it, because when Slurpee and Ninja and I did a co-op run, the game crashed midway as well. So
I'm glad it's not
we
unique
have...
to me then.
No, it's definitely unique to me. Wherever it is that I go,
Oh, okay. This is your
I
fault.
poison. Yeah. I poison the stream.
Well, if you didn't see it the first time, don't blink, because you will miss it again.
Yeah, you get to see the chaos, you get to hear the music and the love. This is where it is that I really love the Genesis. I was very much a SNES person for forever. And I was like, what on earth is with this like farty bass and all of this sort of stuff? And then once it is that I understood that FM chip, it's like, I was wrong all my life. Oh yeah, that's right. So I raised Verts and Demon's crest, and I also crashed his cart. So I am just a curse. So expect something else to happen in this run.
I need Fanto to be at every single one of my runs doing
Yeah,
commentary, just so they can be disasters.
Completely blame me. Yes.
I have my built-in
So-
excuse.
This
We're back
next
to new
boss,
content now, so that's good.
Yeah, this next boss is one of those things where it's like they're really flexing the graphics, and I absolutely love it. And for those who have played this game before and they're like, holy moly, this boss, well, we get to skip all of that unhinged chaos. And that's one of those things where all the slamming and the running back and forth and everything like that, major tech flex, wonderful. But in terms of a time loss, it is gargantuan. So those quick swaps are essential. Thankfully, it's not like, say, the first boss or the last boss that he's going to be like the last bosses in the final stage there, where it's like quick swaps for 1 cycles are so tight. That one has a little bit more wiggle room, but it's still like, it's not free by any stretch. So this is where, regardless of what route it is that you take, you converge. And so we go back to the junkyard, and then the next stage is also a convergent stage, and then you go back to the divergence. It's just, if it's a game that it is that you enjoy and ever want to run, there's essentially no shortage of categories or anything like that, because you have 4 different characters who all play completely differently, and you have 5 different endings. So it's a game that's like, there's a reason why most people who start running this game bounce around a lot and have, like, if you use speedrun.com or something like that, why you see names on so many spots, and it's just because there's a lot of diversity, and it's really cool. This is definitely one of my favorite bosses in the game right here. You're fighting these like Zodiac signs in this like cool, you know, cyber zone and everything like that.
Yeah, I think we call him the Hacker Man.
Yeah.
Like this digital cyberspace area, and he makes his creations.
As much as it is that I love the aesthetic and the music of the boss, thankfully Fang is not as big a deal, but the randomness here is just like absurd. And when you're just like, okay, I'm gonna melt this boss, and then it charges right at you, for example.
Yeah, this is the worst offender here.
Yeah. Thankfully with this, that's where it is that if you see those instances where Choobsx is taking too much damage, he might take intentional deaths, like something like this. It's like, okay, I took damage. This next form right here doesn't actually take damage for a little while, so he can take an intentional death. So he has enough lives throughout the run to be able to do that kind of thing, so you'll see those strategic deaths, because the big thing is, especially with like the frequency of how much the B&D weapons show up, like you want to be able to make sure that you always have those on lock. Loves cubes. The proof is in the pudding.
Yeah, it was very unfortunate that the twins there decided to die right on top of me. It's like,
Yeah.
collect C.
Yeah, there's nothing quite like this boss being this boss in terms of being able to just shatter your heart. Yeah, this is definitely, it's like I said, it's one of my favorite bosses in the game. It's super, super cool. It's just such chaos. Thankfully, this stage is one of the ones that, like every other character, randomness just absolutely messes you over, but Fang's weapon is just way too overpowered that whatever pattern you get kind of just doesn't even matter.
I'm happy that went well.
Yeah, that went really well. That was nice and buttery, side of biscuits, all that lovely stuff. This is another one of those things where the quick swaps can be really annoying in terms of skipping cycles, because each of the attacks that it does, like when you kill it, you might have those invulnerability periods, but thankfully he was able to get it before one of the invulnerability periods. Here's our dinosaur buddy. Always love our dinosaur friend. Except
So
for that,
happy.
if you go over him and you damage him as you're going through, his breath can kill you one hit. Doesn't matter if you have full health. So Dino Buddy is also an apple. Whoop.
Yeah, I read that you just don't slide on top of his head.
Yeah,
And you're
definitely
okay.
best to just like super carefully.
Good Dino Buddy.
Yeah, I have lost plenty of runs to Dino Buddy. This snowman thing is what it is that I was talking about in terms of patterns right here. I'm really sad that he got the perfect pattern because
pattern.
it was completely wasted because it doesn't matter for Fang, but I'm glad that he got to see it
He
because the
gives you
throwing
one
arm thing
pattern
is
that's a problem.
ideal.
One pattern. And that's the one where you shoot and be firing to the ground.
Yeah, exactly.
And you will take damage and probably die.
Yeah, just the worst. There's a couple of different ways to be able to handle this part. This is definitely like the better, safer strat. You can do the quick swap, but your timing has to be just like bang on. And if you miss it, it's like you just waste some time, and it feels a little bit defeating because you're just like, look at me, I gave it my all,
Yeah, it's
put
a
on
very,
a big show.
a very tightly timed shot to be able to get that right.
Yeah. If you were running this and you picked the other category, there'd be a slight difference in this, even though it's a converged section, and that's because the assassin that you killed in the first stage would actually still be inside of the robot,
Okay.
and then we'd start shooting missiles later in the stage, which is kind of like a neat little detail. This is auto scroller time. I
Yeah,
know
also,
how speedrunners love
I
auto
would like to
scrollers.
point out that anytime that I'm not on the screen, Fanto, everybody should be asking,
Where's
Poochie?
Poochie?
Because I'm just going to hang out on this wall on the right side, and you're not going to see me for a minute.
Where's Poochie? For those who have played this and hated this section, it's probably because one, you were shooting the boss. The shooting the boss right here doesn't actually do any damage, and all it does is make it bounce all over the place. But on top of that, if you just climb off screen, it can't hurt you. It just does that, and it's completely safe. This is a weird game in the respect that some speed games get to the point where when you start going through them, learning more about them, or doing certain strats, the game gets a lot more complicated. But this one actually is bizarre, in which, like, certain categories, the more you know about it, the easier it actually is, and certain things just wind up being like free.
We're going to take our time there.
Yeah, sometimes like it's the quick swapping there is like ultra rhythm time, and it can be really challenging, especially to recover it quickly because of how much it is that you are like pushing and doing the swaps and paying attention to those things. You can actually have the C weapon and a bomb on you and still do the quick swaps, but it also means that you have to tap 2 extra times to be able to make the quick swap happen.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't see runners doing that kind of thing and having backup weapons or anything like that, because if you're running this category, you're essentially like, I am completely committed to this, otherwise you'd just be playing a different character.
Yeah, like even the difference between doing a 3-tap quick swap and a 4-tap is enough to throw you off completely.
Yeah, and if you're grinding this category, like, your wrist is going to pay for it if you're doing that. So anytime that it is that you can mitigate that, the better. So the reason that it is that he did that is you see this slingshotting like this. If the quick swaps are fast enough, he shouldn't actually get damaged during this, but it's way better to be safe than sorry with this kind of thing. Because those quick swaps are one of those things that it is tight to do that in that time and not get hit. So that was actually that was really good on
Quiet, please.
Choobs's part.
Mr. Belmont. It's nice to see you with Orville Redenbacher. I don't know.
Yeah, whatever it is.
But this is where we
or-
get to make our second choice, where we either fight or we surrender. And of course, choice number 1, we're fighting.
We are going for broke here.
That's right. We're going to the kitchen here, and we're gonna cook some stuff up.
This one winds up being a weird one because it's actually a really tough boss. Not with Poochie.
That's why I'm dancing
Most
the
of
entire
the
time.
bosses you don't see patterns. It's ridiculous. Yo, thanks for the raid, Siberian. Nice to see you.
Yeah, it is the same exact deterministic thing every single time.
Yeah, it's lovely to be able to do this and just kind of relax in some of those moments. If you decide to run this game and pick some of the other characters and you're like, no, I want to get in the throes of it. I want to do the boss patterns. Ray or possibly Sheena are your characters, and it's nice to be able to see some of that stuff. But for those who went on the struggle bus with this game, Fang is amazing. Like Robo Poochie, I definitely recommend. It makes things a lot more chill, especially if you're not pulling for like super tight times kind of thing. If you aim for like say a 16, 17 in this category, it's just one of those things where it's like you get to flex a bit, but you're not completely shattering your soul.
Also, if you like enemies that are fairly phallic, this game has a lot of those.
Yeah.
Just on different routes, not this one.
It is a bonanza in certain instances.
Now
So
we're
now
in
we
Soviet
get our
Russia,
revenge
so
on Dr. Wily
yeah.
here.
Soviet Russia, popcorn eats Orville Redenbacher.
And this is one of those really nice things with things is not every attack actually pierces through that, and you have to get underneath the boss to be able to attack that middle part there. So it's nice to be able to just melt that from the outside. This next little stretch here is probably where you like. I'm hoping he doesn't have to, but probably where you're going to see some unintentional deaths throughout it because this is madness. It's hard to keep track of all of that and kill everything at a proper time. Okay.
We have whatever that thing is.
Yeah, and then next for the fans of feet, the next boss has you covered.
And this is the Quentin Tarantino boss.
Yeah. Bye bye, Quentin Tarantino fetish boss. This part here, yeah, I was gonna say probably gonna use the bomb because that's remnants from some of the other games. That part, if you are slightly off, is just awful. That intentional death is really smart there because messing up on this part and losing the weapon here, I don't think that there's another instance to be able to get your weapons back. So being strategic about that is critical. I wasn't sure. Yeah, I kind of figured that it wasn't enough damage quite yet. You can do that in one cycle and just have it default to this sooner. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say, it's like, please tell me you're not going for it. You can do it where you don't move on that, but you mess it up and this final stretch is just like absolute agony city. So that was really smart. We're in a marathon. Game over cancer. Game already crashed. Let's not have any more surprises with the curse that is me. This part here, it's kind of fun that the enemies start attacking one another. Neat little detail there. So chances are what he's going to do at the top here is take the C weapon out and take an intentional death, just to be able to, do another health mitigation thing. Because this final boss here, especially on the final phase, you really want to be able to make sure that it is that you can do some damage tanking and that sort of stuff, because it can be super rough-a-ronies if you miss any of the shots. And this, for people who are Contra 3 fans, this cell is actually the same. Like I can't, like, the mother cell or whatever it is, and same as on one of the second stages from Contra 3. And then now we're going to be melting on the heart, and as soon as it is that Choobsx stops shooting, that will be time after the big explosions and everything like that. You'll see a flash on the screen, and so explosions, flash on the screen, and as soon as he stops shooting, that's time.
There we go.
Boom.
But is it the real ending? That's the
That was incredible.
some good things happened and some bad things happened, so it was a marathon.
Yeah.
run.
Yeah, if we didn't get that crash, actually, it looks like he would have had that 16 kind of
Yeah.
area. So that's really, really good.
So there's our man Belmont, and unfortunately he is getting away. So chase fight is not the way to actually beat the game. So it's up to you all to go to Google and figure it out. I don't know, or play the game.
Definitely encourage you to check the game out and run it. And there are plenty of people who really want to be able to see other runners in this game. And there's been like a resurgence of runners. We've seen a lot of new runners from Russia in particular that have just been absolutely crushing the game. And it's been super incredible to see. So if you want to run it, there's a lot that's out there to make this run accessible, and there are people to help out. So I definitely highly recommend it. It's such a cool game. Even if you just want to listen to the music, it's worth it.
Music is definitely 50% of the reason why I'm still playing this game. It's so good.
Congrats on that, dude. That was incredible. Other
Thank
than
you.
my first crash.
Definitely a solid time, and as you said, you can never go wrong with a game with great tunes.
Yes, exactly.
And
Especially when you're
like,
playing it
when you
over.
have a game with Nice Guy and Bike Man in the credits, like, come
right.
on. That's a selling point right there.
Bike Man's a little too on the nose. Kei Suzuki, come on.
So thank you so much for having us. It's a blast as always.
It's always great to play games for Game Over Cancer. It's always good to hang out with my Canadian friends, because you all are great, excellent people.
Even me.
Phantom most of the time when he's not crashing my game. And that's going to be it for me, so thanks for having me.
Perfect. Thank you for the great run and the comms. And on that note, we do have a couple donations that I forgot to sneak in. So we had, the one, Owly Pop 10 USD, saying in honor of Capty Apty and those fighting the good fight. So on that note, we will be prepping for our next run of Goliath Depot. So don't go anywhere, folks.
See you next mission.